Hello and welcome. My name is Jon Cheek. I'm the founder and director of UniTasterDays, and a really warm welcome to you, whether watching live or watching back on the UniTaster On Demand hub. Today, we're going to be looking at personal statements, but it's personal statements with a twist because we're recording this event during, for most students, the final week of term. Today is December the 15th. So we're going to put a Christmas break angle to it and look at some of the things that you as students, if you're watching this as a student or perhaps as a school group, can do over the Christmas break in relation to your personal statement. I'm absolutely delighted to have a brilliant speaker for this event today, and that's Kiran. Kiran is a Student Recruitment Officer with Keele University, and Kieran's going to talk about some of the key tips when it comes to writing personal statements and stuff you can work on over the Christmas break in relation to them. Over to you, please, Kiran.
So what we'll cover, just to give you a bit of an idea, just to go through a bit of a recap of the application form, what universities are looking for, a recap on some of the basics, some top tips, some common mistakes that we've come across, and what's next. So the application form itself, you've got your 5 sections to complete. So there's the personal details section. So this section asks you for the details, including your email address, which most universities will use to contact you if you have any further information. We do recommend a personal email address, or one that you are checking, rather than a school or college one where they may close after you've finished with the school. Then the universities can't get in touch with you. Your choices themselves, so you can choose up to 5 courses. There's no preference order, and your chosen universities and colleges won't see where else you have applied. The education section, so you must enter all your qualifications within this section. That's whether you have the result or you're still awaiting exam and results. So don't forget also here to add in the correct award titles. The employment section, if you've had any paid jobs, you can add them into this section. And if you've done any unpaid work or voluntary work, you can talk about this within the personal statement itself. And then the statement, your chance to show universities and college why you want to study your particular course and why you'd make a great student, and why you would maybe want to go to university to carry out that subject. Don't forget to note down your UCAS ID. So this is a good one if you are contacting universities, just so they can pull up your records quickly. If you've got your UCAS ID number, they will then be able to find you quite quickly. So what are universities looking for? A strong academic profile. They want to see, obviously the subjects you've taken, any predicted grades they'll be able to see from your application form. Evidence of interest and knowledge of the subject area. So they want to know about your interests in your chosen subject, any wider knowledge, things that you've done around that subject area itself. Key skills, teamwork, organisation, time management, things that you're probably already doing within school and colleges. So just thinking about how you can use these as well, because they will be transferable skills that you can use at university. And relevant extracurricular activities. So anything else that you might have taken part in alongside your studies, and to remember to give examples of what you've been involved in, but also evidence of how that might help you within your subject area or going to university itself. So a bit of a basics recap. The personal statement itself is 47 lines or 4,000 characters. And it is one personal statement for all choices, and it can be written in paragraphs, but you can't use bold, italics or underlined characters, as the system itself just takes out all the formatting. And you can't use content that's found on the web. So all of the personal statements go through a system called Copycatch, and this picks up on any copied content. So the personal statement. So just some things to think about, making sure that you have added. It's an opportunity to promote yourself and show your enthusiasm and commitment. It's your chance to sell yourself and show why you're enthusiastic for this subject and your chosen course. Because it is a commitment. It could be 3, 4, even 5 years. So they really want to know why it is you want to study this particular subject. To be analytical and not just descriptive. So you want to include your experiences, but also what you have gained from them. So, and how has that helped you to want to undertake this particular subject area? A statement that's personal to you. It is about you and your experiences. So just remembering, add in about your experiences, what you may have gained from them, and your enthusiasm for that particular course itself. And saving a copy. Just remember to save as you're going along, making sure that you have got copies so that there isn't any issues as you come towards press and submit. It is all about balance and the personal statement itself. So making sure that all the information that you do put in is relevant and within the word count, and trying to stay on topic as much as you can. So some top tips for you. Structure is important, so it's not just about listing everything that you've done, thinking about the points that you want to expand on, and giving examples where relevant, and again how that relates back. To roughly look at a 75 to 25% split between academic and extracurricular information. The focus should be on the education side and how this relates back to what you're replying to, but there are other things that you will want to include. For example, if you have done any voluntary work, any work experience, and again, things that you've got involved in that may help towards this subject area or becoming a university student. Demonstrating a genuine enthusiasm for your subject outside of the curriculum in the classroom. So this could be evidenced again through work experience, volunteering, or wider reading, things that you've taken in part of to enhance your learning of that particular subject area. And that's why what evidence of wider reading can become really helpful to show if you've been doing some extra work or reading outside of the classroom and what you've been reading, and again how that's impacted your thoughts and that your application to this particular course choice. And why a degree in this particular subject? This is quite an important point to make reference to in your statement. And also if you know what you'd like to do in the future, if you've got any career plans, write about them also within the personal statement so we can see maybe where you want to go next. If you apply for a vocational subject like teaching, medicine, social work, it's important to give an understanding of the profession and the career itself. An explanation of your subjects and skills that you've learned if they're relevant. You can include what topic areas you've enjoyed and the skills that you've gained from them, and what you've taken and how you may apply them. But you don't need to list all of the subjects that you have taken, as they're already on your application in the education section. It's important to be positive about your skills and your experience, and really get that across within the statement. Think about university itself and how they may be looking for students who are going to contribute to that community. And while we say there's lots to include, it is important to remember that there is no perfect personal statement. It is personal to you and it is about your experiences themselves. So some common mistakes, things to maybe check that you haven't done or you may need to amend. So don't refer to any university by name. Universities don't see where you are applying to, so they won't know where else you have applied. So to not reference anybody by name. To not start every sentence with I. This can get quite boring if you're reading the personal statement. Don't make lists, but avoid waffle. Again, this is where the structured paragraphs would help, and thinking about your word count and where you want to put in the most of your information, but again, to have it concise and succinct so it fits in with the word count. Don't start with from a young age, I've been fascinated by, or I've always wanted to be. Avoid cliches, quotes and sayings, unless, for example, there is a quote that's relevant to your personal statement or to the subject area that you may be making reference to. And don't repeat information from your application. You don't want to use the word count up on explaining things that are already within your application. So for example, I said about listing subject areas, well, that the subjects that you're taking at the moment, because we can see them within a different part of your application. So dodgy, unsuitable email addresses. This is where I made reference earlier to using a personal email address that you do use. School emails do quite often close after you have finished, so we do recommend a personal email address that you do check, and again, maybe thinking about what that might be. Assuming software has checks for spelling and grammar. So once you start populating the personal statement box with your personal statement, the software itself does not check for errors. It won't come up with any spelling or grammar mistakes on there. So it is worth having another pair of eyes check your statement for you, whether that's a family member or a teacher, personal tutor, just to have another person to check it over, just in case you've missed something, because you may have read your personal statement quite a few times. And not giving correct award titles. So again, having the correct award titles are really important for universities when they're making their decisions, as different awards carry different points. So making sure if you are taking a BTEC, have you written the correct one? So is it a diploma or an extended certificate? So just making sure you've got all the right information there for the universities to use. So before you press go, take a final look at your application. You will see and have the chance to make any edits, and then mark a section as complete and save it. Once you've marked all your previous sections as complete, you'll be able to read through and agree to the declaration by UCAS. Then UCAS itself will process this information and send it to your chosen universities and colleges. Then it's getting a reference, paying your fee, and sending in your application. A reference is your written recommendation from a teacher, or advisor, or a professional who knows you academically or professionally. The application fee is £20 if you're applying for just one course, and £26 for multiple courses and late applications sent after the 30th of June. So just making sure you've got the right fee set up there for this year. So things to do in year 13. Well, hopefully you would have submitted your application to UCAS and started to think about your student finance. So Student Finance England, they usually open their applications around February, March time, so have a look out for those. It may be that you need to prepare for interviews. So some courses will have an interview process and they will write to you about how that will take place. So it may be that you do some mock interviews, or you go through some questions just to prepare yourself. Visit days or offer holder days. So you may have a chance to visit your chosen university through virtual events and anything else that they may be offering. Making your firm and insurance choices. Working hard and revising and taking your exams in the summer. Checking UCAS track on results day. And then confirming your place at your chosen university in the summer, again in August. So again, lots to be doing between now and then the end of the year itself. But hopefully this has given you a bit more information. So thank you very much for listening today. Hopefully that's given you the last few thoughts before you press go and you press submit.